I would also like to make a toast to the white man who steals our land and steals our sons.
To the white man!
Back again. Trump is back. Tell a friend. Guess who's back? 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 Bing, 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 bing. I'll create a monster, cause nobody wants to see Biden no more. They want Trump. I'm chopped liver. Well, if you want Trump, this is what I'll give you. A little bit of weed mixed with some hard liquor. Some vodka that'll jumpstart my heart quicker than a shot when I get shot at the hospital by the doctor. When I'm not cooperating, when I'm rocking the table, well, he's operating. You ain't in this wound, now stop the fading. Cause I'm back, I'm loaded red and ovulating. I know that you got a job, Miss Pelosi, but your husband's heart problem's complicating. So the FCC won't let me be, or let me be me, so let me see. They try to shut me down on mocked with her, but it feels so empty without me.
See, this guy keeps on trying to bump me every time I walk by.
You like?
Dude, I'm walking down the street.
I'm standing here. I'm allowed.
Get out.
Let him go sideways.
Get out of my...
Alright, Alex. You need to leave.
I'm not leaving, guys. You're trying to get in my way. I'm here on a public street. Get out of my way. Oh my God, guys, I'm so scared. The Antifa, they brought their play guns, their squirt guns. Oh my God, your arts and crafts time. Did this mess up your arts and crafts time? You guys gonna be able to go home and play with your arts and crafts?
Why is it so tiny?
Look how scary they are. Oh my God, this guy's so scared. I'm so scared. He's got his gun, his big gun. He's a big bad guy. Oh my God, I'm so happy you're protecting these children so they can go get indoctrinated and go in there for transgender story time. You're such a good American. God bless this guy. Look at him. I'm scared.
How dare you?
Children. But see, these are the real scaredy cats. They gotta walk around with a gun. They can't handle themselves like a real man. All right, guys, I just want to announce I'm Primetime 99 Alex Stein, and I love y'all, even though you guys don't love me, and I know you guys probably love children a little too much, but I'm very empathetic to you guys. I love you guys. Even these guys with the guns, I feel sorry that you guys were probably abused as children, and I really hope you guys get the mental health care that you guys deserve. I love you guys. God bless you all. I love you guys. I love your rights. I think you guys are great. We need to actually transition more children. We need more drag queen story time for elementary school kids.
Where's the message of the day?
Love. Love everyone, accept everyone for who they are, their differences, their inequalities, like just tolerance and love and acceptance.
Wait for it.
What do you think of Donald Trump?
Him. Oh God, die.
I'm going to be teaching you how to use spore pronouns in sentences, so let's go! Spore pronouns are neopronouns. But why would a person want to use spore pronouns? For example, a person who has been struggling with gender lately. This person has already tried using he, ze, it pronouns, but still doesn't feel right using those. So this person wants to try neopronouns that relate to nature. Therefore, spore pronouns could feel relatable, especially because this person feels a strong relationship with nature. But anyway, here's how to use spore pronouns in sentences. Spore is such a wonderful person. Spore's smile is so contagious. In fact, I saw Spore make a whole audience smile. I think Spore should be very proud of Spore's self. Oh my goodness, we made it through! And if you need more help on how to use neopronouns in sentences, that should help. Remember to always stay curious about yourself.
Shut the fuck up. So,
Shut the fuck up.
shut the fuck up.
And shut the fuck up.
And then shut the fuck up again.
You don't have to go to hell. You're in hell. This is hell. This is hell. This is hell.
Because democracy basically means government by the people, of the people, for the people. But the people are retarded.
Then strangled them, and finally dismembered their bodies.
Right.
Then do
Available.
and homelessness and all that.
And now, the voice you've been waiting for.
There's a secret song center of the world, and its sound is like razors through flesh. I'm here to turn up the volume.
I'm kind of retarded.
Oh, some big news this week. Brittany Griner has been transferred to a penile? No, it says penal. Whatever. A penal colony in western Russia. Luckily not Siberia, I suppose, although you'll still be spending your days turning big rocks into small rocks. And unfortunately for her...
Nobody cares! Nobody cares!
Yeah, the moral of this story is just because you're American, and just because you're a supposedly famous American, doesn't mean shit in a foreign country, honey. I remember back in the 90s, there was this kid got busted in Singapore for vandalizing some cars, just spray painted some shit, and they caned his ass. People were even trying to appeal to Bill Clinton to try to do something to help this kid. Caning is pretty fucking brutal. If you don't know what it is, look it up, because it's a pretty nasty, it's basically like getting whipped. But that was their law. That was their prescribed punishment. You go to a foreign country and think because you're American you don't have to follow their laws? Sorry, but I'm running a little bit low on sympathy these days.
You'll get no sympathy from me! You want sympathy? Look at the dictionary between shit and syphilis!
There was also this great story about Trudeau getting bitch slapped by the Chinese president Xi. I'm no big fan of Xi Jinping, but watching him basically pull his dick out and piss on Trudeau's leg was pretty funny to watch.
Everything we discussed is then leaked to the paper, that's not appropriate. And that's not how the way the conversation was conducted. If there is sincerity on your part,
free and open and frank dialogue, and that is what we will continue to have. We will continue to look to work constructively together, but there will be things we will disagree on, and we will have to continue.
Let's create the conditions first.
You're gonna cry in the car.
And this was at the G20 World Government Summit, where they basically were nonchalantly talking about how we need to have a worldwide digital health pass. You know, the thing that 2 years ago everybody said was kooky to suggest was coming down the pike.
That carry emergency medical countermeasure, emergency goods like energy and food, they still have to move around. The pilot, the ship's crew, those are the people that need to be moved around. So let's have a digital health certificate acknowledged by WHO. If you have been vaccinated or tested properly, then you can move around. G20 country has agreed to have this digital certificate using WHO standard, and we will submit into the next World Health Assembly in Geneva as the revision to international health regulation.
What do you know? Another conspiracy theory that turned out to be a spoiler alert.
Of course, if we look at all the challenges, we can speak about a multi-crisis, an economic, a political, a social, an ecological, an institutional crisis. But actually, what we have to confront is a deep, systemic, and structural restructuring of our world. And this will take some time. And the world will look differently after we have gone through this transition process. Politically, the driving forces for this political transformation, of course, is the transition into a multipolar world, which has a tendency to make our world much more fragmented. And for these reasons, events like this one, the G20, and so on, are the very important connectors to avoid a too great segmentation.
And considering the World Economic Forum that he helms has their people in head positions all over the world, including heads of state of most of Europe, the shit coming out of this Bond villain wannabe's mouth should be terrifying to people, and yet it tends to not even be a blip on most radars. And there's also this FTX story, which had started breaking about a week and a half ago, but I could tell there was going to be more to shake out and the story hadn't fully developed, so I didn't even bother talking about it last week. Apparently Tom Brady lost all his motherfucking money.
What's up, guys? I'm here with my boy Sam from FTX. We're at Crypto Bahamas conference. We're going to start the day. We're going to do some TikToks for you guys. And it's going to be an amazing day. We'll get started. We'll do a get ready with me. Sam, where you going, bro?
Oh, Johnny, did you back the wrong horse? You hose him.
You would think a guy with that much dough would at least have an advisor to tell him, hey, Tommy, maybe you shouldn't put everything into this fucking out-of-nowhere company that just popped up a couple years ago and has been pushed by the government as being like the adults in the room when it comes to crypto. But whatever, I guess he won't be retiring again anytime soon. But then you start finding out that FTX was basically this money laundering operation that was taking money, working with USAID, money that was supposed to be going to Ukraine, and who knows how much of it got siphoned, because even though there were some people in the Congress and Senate that wanted this to be audited and there to be some kind of accountability as to where this money was going, the majority of them said, "How dare you! No, we don't need to do anything like that." And then what do you know? The money was getting siphoned right back to themselves. And not just on the blue team either. You also had people like Mitch the Bitch McConnell getting a couple million. Oh, you mean there's corruption in both parties? Yeah, and now they're trying to make it seem like it was just all on this kid, that he was just doing some dirty dealings himself. And you look at this kid, he looks like Sideshow Bob had a baby with Donnie Darko. This fucking kid look like a criminal mastermind to you? No, he's the front nerd. And he's gonna end up taking the fall, spending some time in prison. He'll be lucky if he doesn't get fucking Epsteined. We should start making shirts now. SBF didn't hang himself. And then there's also the fact that this FTX had their own foundation, and they were doing this together clinical trials to look at whether some of these therapeutics were actually helpful. And they were looking at one particular therapeutic whose name should not even be mentioned, even though now it quietly got added to the National Institute of Health's possible list of medications for COVID. But they were the ones that funded the study that it was useless and potentially even dangerous. But the same sorry pricks that now want amnesty for all this bullshit, they don't want that getting out. They just want to make it about how, oh, this kid embezzled some money. And they're also trying to make lemonade out of these lemons by saying that, oh, see, this is the reason why we need to have more crypto regulation. The funny thing being that these people were basically doing what the central banks do, just on a smaller scale. And this could be the tipping point, the thing that sends the shit over the edge, basically like the whole Madoff thing did back in 2008. At first they said, oh, this isn't a big deal, we've got it contained. And they're doing the same thing now, acting like, oh, it's just, you know, a little bit of money this kid pilfered, it's no big deal. I guess we'll be seeing about that, huh? Please consider liking, subscribing, sharing this video, or leaving a comment. Because every time you do nothing, Vladimir Putin will shoot another puppy. Meanwhile, on the World War III front, General Milley made some comments about how maybe over the winter we can, you know, have a bit of a timeout and try to work out some kind of deal to end the war. How dare you! And this angered Ukrainian officials. I hear Zelensky was pissed, and this dickless son of a bitch Milley backed down when he should have said, listen, you round-headed little fucking president of a country nobody can find on a map, you're prosecuting this war with our money and our weapons, so maybe when we talk you fucking listen. What, are you looking to get Gaddafi'd or some shit? I mean, how the fuck are we letting these douchebags tell us what's what when they're using our shit, using it up faster than we can replenish it? And then you had this errant missile land inside of Poland, and within minutes, Zelensky was trying to get us to fucking launch a full-scale strike to retaliate. Even 2 days after, everybody said, no, it looks like it was actually a Ukrainian missile. He's still out there going, oh no, that's bullshit. We need to attack now. What, is NATO a bunch of little bitches? This fucking guy doesn't care. He knows the only way he's gonna win this war is if NATO gets involved, which means he had every reason to allow a missile to get fired into Poland. And here we are, just backing a guy whose only winning strategy depends upon this war becoming escalated and including NATO. And potentially killing hundreds of millions or even billions of people, but you know, who cares? On a final note, because this is Thanksgiving week, and I'd like to end on a note of something that I'm thankful for, something positive. I'm thankful that this story blew up in their faces the way that it has. You had NBC suspending their correspondent after yanking the segment that he did for the Today Show.
Craig, good morning. When officers arrived here at the Pelosi home exactly a week ago today, they initially didn't have any idea exactly what was going on. They knew they had a high priority call on their hand. What was unclear, what was happening inside the property just behind me.
This morning, Paul Pelosi is home, back at the house that became a crime scene a week ago today. NBC News learning new details about the moments police arrived. Sources familiar with what unfolded in the Pelosi residence now revealing when officers responded to the high-priority call, they were seemingly unaware they'd been called to the home of the Speaker of the House. After a knock and announce, the front door was opened by Mr. Pelosi. The 82-year-old did not immediately declare an emergency or try to leave his home, but instead began walking several feet back into the foyer toward the assailant and away from police. It's unclear if the 82-year-old was already injured or what his mental state was, say sources. According to court documents, when the officer asked what was going on, defendant smiled and said everything's good. But instantaneously, a struggle ensued as police clearly saw David DePape strike Paul Pelosi in the head with a hammer. After tackling the suspect, officers rushed to Mr. Pelosi, who was lying in a pool of blood.
What we do know is he brutally attacked Mr. Pelosi and attempted to kill him.
After spending several days in the ICU, Pelosi, who is recovering from a fractured skull and serious injuries to his arm and hand, is now home, where Capitol Police remain on alert. Investigators have previously said Pelosi did not know DePape when the 42-year-old broke into his home. Why Pelosi didn't try to flee or tell responding officers he was in distress is unclear.
Fear takes over. Fear freezes people.
This morning, the 82-year-old lucky to be alive after an intruder nearly killed him in his own home.
Law enforcement officials tell us the bottom line here is this was a terrifying situation. We still don't know exactly what unfolded between Mr. Pelosi and the suspect for the 30 minutes they were alone inside that house before police arrived. Officials who were investigating this matter would not go into further details about these new details. Craig, back to you.
Yeah, one thing's for sure, though. He is lucky to be alive. Miguel Amelgar for us. Miguel, thank you.
Yeah, they just completely deleted that, scrubbed it, and suspended that reporter. But now all of a sudden, a Bay Area NBC station is running basically the same report. So remember, no matter who you end up spending this Thanksgiving with or what you inevitably end up feasting upon, just remember that things could almost certainly be a lot worse, and they probably will be soon enough. But raise your glasses and say a little toast for Underwear Hammer Fight Club. Sláinte.
In this world is my thoughts and my words, and I don't break them for no one. You understand? So say good night to the bad guy. So say good night to the bad guy. So say good night to the bad guy. Say good night to the bad guy. Come on. Come on. good night, so say good night to the bad guy. So say good night, so say good night to the bad guy. So say good night, so say good night to the bad guy. So say good night, so say good night, so say good night to the bad guy. So say good night, so say good night to the bad guy. So say good night, so say good night, so say good night to the bad guy. I told you, don't fuck with me. I told you, don't fuck with me. I told you, don't fuck with me. I told you, don't fuck with me.